Let me ask one more question, and then I'll turn it open to the audience. And this one is a two-word answer, and then you have to give a little why. And the question is, what would be 2 words that you would use to describe your own personal leadership style?
By example. Right, so I tend to focus on execution. I get really wrapped up in deal flow and just in the business. And I have done, I think, a good job hiring a leadership team. So we just hired a head of engineering who moved from Boston, from the East Coast to Chicago. Hired a senior vice president of sales and marketing who moved to Chicago from Manhattan. And I needed that leadership. From an operating and from a management standpoint, because I get so focused on the execution and not enough on organizing the troops and leading. So I hope the rest of the company just sees me as the emails at midnight and just nonstop in search of growth and a brighter future.
Probably get dirty. Which is just, my role as CTO, it's, I tell people what I do, and then I say that, and most of the time I'm coding, they're still like, oh, you're still coding. But that's, that's first love is getting in there. I'm a developer right with everyone else. I'm getting the midnight pages if servers go down, and I'm the first one in and all that kind of stuff. So kind of, again, leading by example, but being in there as hopefully a peer resource in terms of software development.
Terrific. Thanks.
I would say it's a confident vision. Everything we do, we're literally doing for the first time in the industry, and the notion of pushback where people say this is never going to work happens to us repeatedly. So the ability to convince the team that this is going to work, that the path we have is the correct one, and there will be bumps along the way, but if we persevere, it will in fact work out to our benefit.
Confident vision. Confident.
I would have to say collaborative. When you're starting a pharmaceutical company, you need the same divisions that Abbott and Pfizer have. Just because you're developing smaller drugs doesn't mean the FDA is any easier. You have to do everything the same. So all these divisions, nobody knows it all. It's impossible. So while I put together a great management team, and you had to rely and work very closely with the leaders of each division, and they were partners, and that's how I treated them. And I made everybody work hard and explain why we're doing it, and they were accountable. They were rewarded, or they were held accountable. But it was really that collaboration of us all working together, locking the door, and figuring it out together, relying on the expertise of the division head, and then executing. It really was that teamwork that made us successful.
Super. Collaborative. Thanks, John.
I would say passion and customer. I started this company 11 years ago after being frustrated with the challenges of marketing and sales working together in an organization. And I wake up every day and rather early, as passionate as I was from the day we started it. What's really interesting about our technology, the technology itself, extremely innovative. We've combined social networking, collaboration, document management. It's very, very cool. But the technology itself is not the innovation. It is our knowledge of our marketplace, what makes salespeople effective and efficient, that drives our organization, and it starts here. Frankly, I never wanted to be a CEO. I still wonder some days if I do. I love our marketplace, and any excuse I can have to get in front of customers and users is absolutely what I love to do. So,
love it. Andrew?
So my 2 words, I guess, are cultivate ownership. One of the most rewarding things is looking at the 7 people that were here at Groupon 20 months ago when we started, and who were just a bunch of rascals, myself included, and seeing them grow into these now very large roles. Some of them are still leading significant portions of the organization. And I think definitely sometimes there's a kind of art to finding the balance of when you need to bring in experience, as long as that experience kind of meshes with your culture. but knowing when it's maybe more important to just put some super smart person who doesn't have the experience in a role that they really feel like they can have an outcome on the path of the business. And we've seen that happen over and over again. Like there was a guy that we hired back when we were another company that kind of evolved into Groupon, and we were working on the other thing. We had this community manager who's just the kid you went to college with that, you know, super smart, has a really high GPA, but is off playing in a rock band, and you're like, man, he's never gonna make any money. He's gonna be working at Shoney's when he's 45. And kind of he was faced with opportunity where he started running the editorial team. He now manages 65 people. It's probably the most efficiently run part of the Groupon organization. And it's awesome to see that. And all the people that are really rock stars at Groupon are the people, are not just experienced people, they're people who had something they could sink their teeth into, like a really big challenge, and they kind of rose to that. So when I'm creating roles, I always try and think about what they own and what it is that they feel like they're going to be able to have a big impact on.
Terrific. That's done. Cultivate ownership.